Either apologize to him or we are done. My girlfriend demanded about her male best friend after I made him uncomfortable by asking about their weekend trip together. I said, "You're right." Then I apologized by changing the locks and ending the relationship. A few days later, she called crying from outside the door. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. Either apologize to him or we are done. Those 8 words were ringing in my ears, echoing in the hallway where she stood with her arms crossed, looking at me like I was the villain. But before I tell you how she ended up sobbing on the other side of a locked door, we need to back up. Because this wasn't just about an apology. This was about boundaries, respect, and a guy named Kyle who was just like a brother to her. My name is Mark. I'm 29, I work in logistics, and I own my house. I bought it 2 years ago, a modest 3-bedroom place that I've been slowly renovating. It's my pride and joy. My girlfriend, Lena, 27, lived with me. I use quotes because her name wasn't on the deed, the mortgage, or even the utility bills. She kept her mailing address at her parents' place 2 towns over to keep things simple and avoid changing her driver's license. She paid for the groceries and the streaming services, and I covered the mortgage, the repairs, the taxes, and the internet. It worked for us, or so I thought. Then there was Kyle. Kyle was Lena's best friend from college. If you're a guy reading this, you probably just felt your stomach drop. You know exactly the type. Kyle was 28, worked part-time as a bartender, and had that perpetual, I'm too cool to try energy. He was always around. He'd come over to watch movies, eat my food, and sprawl out on my couch, often ignoring me completely to whisper inside jokes to Lena. If I ever brought it up, Lena would gaslight me immediately. Mark, don't be weird. We've known each other for 10 years. He's basically my brother. You're being insecure. So I swallowed it. I didn't want to be the controlling boyfriend. I wanted to be the cool, secure guy. But the dynamic shifted when they announced the trip. It was a music festival about 4 hours away. Lena and Kyle wanted to go for the weekend. Just the 2 of them. It's a once-in-a-lifetime lineup, Mark. Lena had pleaded when she first brought it up. We'll get a hotel suite with 2 separate bedrooms. It's totally platonic. Please don't make this a thing. I didn't like it. Every instinct in my body screamed no. But I had just come off a busy season at work and couldn't get the time off to go with them. Plus, she had already framed it perfectly. If I said no, I was the controlling tyrant. If I said yes, I was the supportive partner. Fine, I said, against my better judgment. 2 separate rooms. Promise me. I promise. She kissed me, beaming. You're the best. That weekend was torture. She texted me sporadically. Just got here. Line for food is huge LOL. But after 8 p.m. on Saturday night, the text stopped. I called her at 11 p.m. to say goodnight. Straight to voicemail. I texted Kyle. No answer. I sat in my living room, staring at the clock. Midnight. 1 a.m. 2 a.m. Nothing. My mind raced. I wasn't just worried about cheating. I was worried about their safety. Had they been in an accident? Was the signal bad? Finally, at 10 a.m. on Sunday, I got a text. Sorry, phone died and charger broke. We're grabbing brunch, then heading back. Love you. No explanation for why Kyle's phone also apparently died. No mention of the night. They arrived back at my house around 6 p.m. Lena walked in, and the vibe was off. She was too energetic. Too loud. She was fluttering around the kitchen, unpacking her bag, talking a mile a minute about the bands, the food, the crowd. But she wouldn't look me in the eye. Kyle was leaning against my kitchen island, eating an apple from my fruit bowl. He looked smug. That's the only word for it. He had this little smirk on his face, like he knew a secret. So, I said, trying to keep my voice casual. How was the hotel? The suite was okay. Lena froze for a split second. Just a beat. Oh, it was fine. Kind of small, but fine. Cool, I said. Actually, my parents are coming to visit next month, and I need to book them a place near that venue for their anniversary. What was the name of the hotel again? And did the suite actually have 2 full bedrooms? Or was it just a pull-out couch situation? My dad has a bad back. It was a trap. A gentle one, but a trap. I wanted to see the logistics. Lena stopped unpacking. She turned to me, her smile tight. Why does it matter? It matters because I don't want my dad sleeping on a lumpy couch, I said, leaning against the counter. Can you just forward me the confirmation email? I want to see the floor plan. Kyle stopped chewing his apple. He looked at Lena. I deleted it, Lena said quickly, to clear space on my phone. You deleted an email to clear space? I asked. Emails don't take up space, Lena. And even if you did, it would be in your trash folder. Just pull it up. The air in the kitchen changed. It went from awkward to hostile in 3 seconds flat. Oh my God, Lena scoffed, throwing her hands up. You are unbelievable. What? I asked calmly. You're checking up on us. You don't care about your parents. You're trying to catch me in a lie because you're paranoid. She turned to Kyle. See? I told you he'd be like this. Kyle chuckled. A low, dismissive sound. Yeah, pretty intense, man. That broke something in me. This guy, this freeloader, was standing in my kitchen, mocking me to my girlfriend. Kyle, I said, my voice dropping an octave. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my girlfriend. And honestly, you need to leave. Now. Kyle raised an eyebrow. Whoa, relax, dude. I said get out. I pointed to the door. Ride's over. Get out of my house. Kyle looked at Lena. Lena looked furious. He doesn't have to leave, she shrieked. You're making him uncomfortable. I don't care about his comfort, I snapped. I care about the fact that you can't show me a simple email proving you didn't share a bed with him. Kyle, get out, or I'm physically throwing you out. Kyle put the half-eaten apple on the counter. No napkin, just on the granite, and smirked. All right, I'm going. Call me later, Len. He walked out the front door, leaving me alone with a seething Lena. The silence that followed was heavy. I waited for her to apologize. I waited for her to say, I'm sorry, here's the email, you're right. Instead, she went on the offensive. I can't believe you, she spat, pacing the living room. That was humiliating. He is my best friend. He has been there for me through everything, and you just treated him like a criminal. I treated him like a guy who's interfering in my relationship. I shot back. And you're deflecting. Show me the receipt, Lena. I'm not showing you anything, she yelled. Because if I show you, it proves that you don't trust me. And a relationship without trust is nothing. Logic 101. If she had the proof, she would have shoved it in my face immediately to shut me up. The fact that she was grandstanding about trust meant the receipt didn't exist, or it showed a king bed for two. She stormed up the stairs. I heard her banging around in the bedroom. Zippers, drawers opening and closing. 10 minutes later, she came back down with her duffel bag. She had repacked it. She stood at the bottom of the stairs, her chest heaving, eyes red with angry tears. She looked at me with pure contempt. I'm not staying here tonight, she said, her voice shaking with rage. I'm going to stay at my sister's. I can't be around this toxic energy. Okay, I said, sitting on the couch. Go. My calmness seemed to infuriate her more. She walked to the door, opened it, and then turned back for her final, fatal decree. And listen to me, Mark, she said, pointing a finger at me. This isn't just about tonight. You crossed a line. You humiliated me, and you humiliated him. She took a breath, puffing herself up. Either apologize to him, or we are done, she demanded. I want you to call Kyle, apologize for making him uncomfortable, and admit you were being an insecure jerk. If you don't fix this by tomorrow, don't expect me to come back. I looked at her. I looked at the bag in her hand. I looked at the open door. Is that an ultimatum? I asked quietly. Yes, she said. It is. She slammed the door so hard the frame shook. Then I heard her car start up and peel out of the driveway. I sat there in the silence of my empty house. I looked at the half-eaten apple Kyle had left on my counter. Apologize to him, or we are done. I picked up the apple and tossed it in the trash. Okay, I said to the empty room. We're done. I didn't sleep well that night, but not for the reasons Lena probably hoped. I wasn't tossing and turning, wondering how to word my apology to Kyle. I was awake because I was angry at myself. I lay in the center of my bed. The bed she claimed was too firm, but slept in for free every night, and replayed the last 2 years. The signs were all there. The boundary pushing, the financial mooching. The way Kyle was always the priority, and I was just the wallet and the safety net. She had handed me a loaded gun and told me to shoot myself in the foot. Instead, I decided to aim it at the relationship. If you don't fix this by tomorrow, don't expect me to come back. That was the clause. That was my out. I took the day off work on Monday. I didn't want to be distracted. I had logistics to handle. At 8 a.m., I went to the garage and grabbed a stack of heavy-duty moving boxes left over from when I bought the place. I didn't throw her clothes. I didn't burn her pictures. I folded her sweaters. I wrapped her skincare bottles and paper towels. I packed her shoes in pairs. I wanted no ammunition for her to call me crazy or abusive. I was simply a landlord facilitating a move-out request. By 10:30 a.m., her life in my house was reduced to 6 cardboard boxes and a garment bag. I stacked them neatly on the front porch, under the overhang, so they wouldn't get wet if it rained. At 11 a.m., the locksmith arrived. His name was Dave. He was a burly guy who didn't ask questions, though he definitely raised an eyebrow at the stack of boxes on the porch. "Just a rekey, or new hardware?" he asked. "New hardware," I said. "Something heavy-duty." I stood there drinking coffee while Dave drilled out the old deadbolt. The sound was aggressive, grinding metal on metal, but to me, it sounded like freedom. Every turn of the screw was severing a tie to the drama. "All set," Dave said at 11:45 a.m., handing me 2 shiny new brass keys. "Old keys are useless now." I paid him, tipped him well, and locked the door from the inside. Then, I sat on the couch and watched the clock. 11:55 a.m. 11:58 a.m. 11:59 a.m. My phone sat on the coffee table. Not a single text from her. She was playing chicken. She was waiting for me to crack, to call her begging, to tell her I'd apologize to Kyle, and that I was a terrible boyfriend for questioning her integrity. She was probably sitting with her sister right now, smugly checking her nails, telling her, "He'll call. He always caves." 12 p.m. The deadline passed. I picked up my phone. I didn't call. I didn't want to hear her voice. I typed out the text I had drafted in my head all night. "It's noon. I haven't called Kyle, and I never will. I've accepted your ultimatum. Since you chose to move out last night and conditioned your return on an apology I won't give, I'm accepting that we are done. I packed the rest of your things to save you the trouble. They are on the porch. Please come get them today. Send." Then, I went to the kitchen and made a sandwich. The reaction was delayed. She must have read it, laughed, and assumed I was bluffing. It took 8 minutes for the realization to hit. 12:08 p.m. Incoming call. "Lena," I let it ring. 12:09 p.m. Incoming call. Lena decline. 12:10 p.m. Text from Lena. "Is this a joke? You're dumping me because I stood up for myself." I didn't reply. Text from Lena. "Mark, stop being childish. I'm willing to talk about this when I get home tonight, but you need to calm down." My reply. "You aren't coming home. You don't live here. You moved out yesterday. Your key won't work. Come get your boxes." Radio silence for an hour. Then, the storm arrived. I heard her car tires crunch on the gravel driveway around 1:30 p.m. I stayed on the couch, watching the front door. I had disabled the Ring doorbell chime, so I wouldn't have to hear the constant dinging, but I pulled up the camera feed on my phone. She stormed up the walkway, looking furious. She saw the boxes and stopped. Her jaw literally dropped. She kicked one of the boxes lightly, as if testing if it was real. Then she marched to the door and jammed her key into the lock. It didn't turn. She jiggled it. She pulled it out, looked at it, wiped it on her shirt, and tried again. Nothing. She pounded on the door with the side of her fist. "Mark, open the damn door. My key is stuck." I walked to the door. I didn't open it. I spoke through the solid wood. "The key isn't stuck, Lena. It's the wrong key. I changed the locks." You what?" Her voice shrieked, cracking a little. "You can't do that. I live here. You don't live here," I said calmly, leaning my forehead against the cool wood of the door. "You live with your parents. That's what you put on your tax forms, remember? To save money. You're a guest here, and guests leave when they threaten the homeowner." "I'm going to call the police," she screamed. "Go ahead," I said. "Tell them you left voluntarily last night after giving me an ultimatum, and that you have a primary residence elsewhere. I'll wait." There was silence on the other side. She knew I had her. She knew the legal loophole she insisted on exploiting, keeping her parents' address to avoid changing her car insurance and voter registration, had just snapped back to bite her. "Mark, please," her voice changed. The anger evaporated, replaced by sudden, desperate panic. "Stop this. It's not funny. Let me in. We can talk." "There's nothing to talk about. You wanted an apology for Kyle. I didn't give one. You set the terms." "I didn't mean it like that," she was crying now. "I was just mad. Open the door, babe. Please. I have nowhere to go." That stopped me. Nowhere to go. I asked. You said you were staying at your sister's. She has the kids this week. Her house is full. I can't stay there. Okay, I said, twisting the knife. So go to Kyle's. He's family, right? He's your best friend. Surely he has a couch for you. Silence. Long, heavy silence. Lena, I prompted. Why don't you go to Kyle's? I can't, she whispered. It was so quiet I barely heard it through the door. Why not? He said. She sniffled, and I could hear the humiliation in her voice. He said he's not looking for a roommate right now. He has a girl coming over tonight. I almost laughed. I would have laughed if it wasn't so pathetic. So let me get this straight, I said, my voice cold. You were willing to blow up your relationship with me, lose your home, and humiliate me. To defend the honor of a guy who won't even let you crash on his couch because he has a Tinder date coming over. It's not like that. She sobbed. It is exactly like that. You bet on the wrong horse, Lena, and you lost. Mark, please. I'm sorry. I'll show you the email. I'll show you the receipt. I don't need to see it anymore, I said. The fact that you wouldn't show me yesterday was the answer. And the fact that Kyle won't take you and tells me exactly what kind of friendship you guys have. He got what he wanted from you this weekend, and now you're a burden. Mark, she pounded the door again, a dull thud. Load your boxes, Lena. If you aren't gone in 10 minutes, I'm turning the sprinklers on. I walked away from the door. I went back to the couch and put my noise-canceling headphones on. I watched the camera feed on my phone. It took her 20 minutes. She cried the whole time. She dragged the boxes to her car, one by one. She tried to call me 6 more times. I watched the notifications pop up and disappear. Finally, she got in her car. She sat there for a long time, hands on the steering wheel, head down. Then, she reversed out of the driveway and drove away. The silence I enjoyed while listening to Free Bird didn't last forever, of course. Narcissists don't just fade away. They try to burn the house down on their way out. The flying monkeys arrived the next morning. I woke up to a barrage of notifications. Lena had gone to social media. She didn't post the full truth, obviously. She posted a crying selfie with a caption about being blindsided, illegally kicked out, and abused by a partner who was jealous of her friends. Her friends, the ones who drank my wine and ate my food at BBQs, were in my DMs instantly. You're a monster. How could you make her homeless? I hope you rot. I didn't argue. I didn't write a counter manifesto. I used the realist approach. I took a screenshot of the text she sent me, the one where she gave the ultimatum. If you don't apologize to Kyle by noon, don't expect me to come back. I posted it to my story with a simple caption. She gave me an ultimatum. I accepted it. She moved out voluntarily on Sunday. I just secured my home. Then, I turned off my phone. By the time I turned it back on that evening, the tide had turned. People aren't stupid. They saw the timestamp. They saw the threat. They realized she had played a stupid game and won a stupid prize. The angry DM stopped. A week later, the truth about Kyle came out. This was the sweetest part. I heard it from her sister, Sarah, who called me to arrange picking up Lena's mail. She's a mess, Mark, Sarah told me, sounding exhausted. She's staying in her old room at Mom's. She tried to go to Kyle's place the night you accepted her terms. And I asked, knowing the answer but wanting to hear it. He wouldn't let her in, Sarah said. Apparently, he told her that she was too intense and that he didn't want to get involved in her drama. He blocked her number the next day. I almost laughed. The brother, the best friend, the guy she was willing to destroy our 2-year relationship for. He didn't want her. He just liked the attention she gave him while she was safely taken by me. Once she was single and needy, he vanished. 3 months later, I got the final confirmation of her karma. I was at a stoplight in town, and I saw her car in the lane next to me. She didn't see me. She looked tired. She wasn't wearing the designer sunglasses she used to make me buy. She was driving her beat-up Civic, looking stressed, probably commuting the hour-long drive from her parents' house to her job. My phone buzzed. It was a text from a number I had blocked, but it went to my blocked messages folder. I checked it later that night. It was from Lena. I saw you today. You look happy. I just wanted to say. Kyle was a mistake. I was stupid. I took what we had for granted. I'm sorry. Can we please just talk? Even just for 5 minutes. I looked at the message. I thought about the ultimatum. I thought about the smirk on Kyle's face in my kitchen. I thought about the way she demanded I apologize to another man for my own boundaries. I didn't feel angry anymore. I didn't feel sad. I felt indifferent. I didn't reply. I didn't delete it. I just closed the phone and went back to cooking dinner in my quiet, peaceful, drama-free kitchen. She was right about one thing. I was happy. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.